So in this video, I wanted to do a quick comparison between A4 and B4 paper sizes. If you're buying your paper online, it can be hard to tell exactly what you're getting, even with the dimensions. So this will be a visual guide to A4 versus B4. A4 is very common. This is a standard notepad or standard desktop pad. It's on the larger side for like journaling and things like that. B4 is not that common. It's a large piece of paper and it's better for like art and sketching and things like that. You don't really see B4 that often, but it is a useful one to know about. So A4 is 210 by 297 millimeters. That's 8.2 by 11.7 inches. A4 is a sort of standard full-size notebook and pretty close to an 8.5 by 11 sheet of office paper, you know, like copy paper or whatever. This is that 8.5 by 11 paper. You see it's a little bit off A4, but they're relatively close. B4 is a good deal larger than A4. B4 is 250 millimeters by 353 millimeters, or 9.8 by 13.9 inches. This is a large sheet of paper, too large for kind of like journaling or note taking, unless you're gonna divide it up into segments. It's better for sketching or some sort of visual thought representations. Maybe that's a comic page or storybooking or some sort of flow diagrams or something like that, but just writing in a B4 is not very comfortable. If we go ahead and open the B4, this is a sketchbook, so obviously it makes sense why it would be so large. It's a very generously sized piece of paper. Here's it relative to a pen. Here's it relative to that 8.5 by 11 sheet. You can see this is a large piece of paper and writing across it is just not that easy. There are large journals and notebooks out there, but once you're getting past A4, they become less and less practical, not just from the standpoint of moving around, just from moving across the page or what happens if there's an error or a small tear or something like that. B4 is getting into the impractical size. Also, these are getting quite expensive. So unless you're using it for a specialty purpose like art, you generally don't need that B4 size. A4 is just a really nice full-size notepad, or it even works as a desk pad. A4 notebooks and desk pads tend to be a little bit more expensive or come at a premium to, say, a B5 or an A5 size, but you're getting a generous amount of space. It's large enough for day-to-day work, but also has enough room to spread out. Whereas a B5 notebook is getting too large to put in most backpacks, and A4 is about the size of a full-size laptop, and you could put it in pretty much every full-size backpack. Here's an A4 next to that gel pen. Here's it next to a pretty common pencil, and you're probably very familiar with that A4 size. I'll line up the bottom left edges, and you could see the A4 versus the B4. B4 has a full, 1.75 inches on the A4, and about 2 full inches in this case, width over it, since this is horizontally oriented, but I would typically call that height. So about 2 extra inches there. So a lot of extra space. So if you are trying to choose between A4 and B4, I would say B4 is good for sketching if you want a lot of extra space to spread out. A4 is a great size for a full-size notebook or notepad, and even a desk pad or something. A4 is just a really nice size. If you have a lot to put down, B4 is getting into your art specific usage. So that pretty much covers it. Thanks for watching.